What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Spooling Up channel. Today, as you can tell, I'm actually going to be doing a video on my MK2 Fiesta XR2. I know it's been a while since I've shared some content on it, but I have been doing little bits and bobs in the background that would completely bore you, like cleaning and prepping the engine bay for it being built back up. But today what I'm going to be doing is I've actually replaced one of the missing parts for the car. I've managed to source a near side drive shaft, which I'm going to be stripping down completely. One of the gaiters is torn, so I'm going to be replacing that, packing it all up with grease, giving it a good clean and getting it fitted to the car again. It's really important for me to do this one because it brings me another step closer to my goal of finishing and finally driving the car. So yeah, guys, let's get into the video. Let's see what this drive shaft is like and see if we can get it fitted. I know it seems like it's taken an absolute eternity to finish this car, but like I keep saying to everybody, slow progress is better than no progress. And even if I do have grey hair by the time I'm finished, at least I didn't give up, and that's the most important thing to me. Right, so let's take a quick look at this now. Down here is a gap where the drive shaft should be coming from the diff. There you can see the one on the other side. It's actually a lot thicker than the near side one. I'm guessing that is because it's got a longer distance to travel, so it needs to be thicker and stronger. And then down here where the drive shaft will be going, the CV joint's actually there, which is pretty funny. The old CV joint still in the hub, so I'm gonna strip that down, remove it, get this new one popped in there. Right, guys, so here we have the drive shaft in all of its glory. This is obviously the hub side that goes on the car. It's dirty and rusty, and then this is obviously the gearbox side. It's nice and clean, and it's still a little bit oily. So yeah, here's the big tear in the gaiter. So I'm gonna strip this off and give it a little measure up, and then order a new gaiter, get it all fitted, get it all how I want it to be. You can see it's a genuine part. It's got the Ford badge on it there. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into sorting this out. So all I've done here is I've pulled the gaiter back off just by undoing the clip that was on the CV joint, and inside I should be able to see it. There's a little circlip there that needs to be spread apart in order to release the CV joint off the drive shaft, and then the gaiter will be allowed to slide off. This actually barely had any grease in it, so definitely a good thing that I took it apart anyway. You can actually hear the sound of it inside. It's not very well greased at all, so we'll be happy to be sorting that out. Right, guys, so here we have it. Actually came off quite easily in the end. Just like I said, spread that clip there apart, and it popped off the end of the drive shaft. So now I can pull the gaiter off. You can see the tear in it's pretty bad. So all there literally is left to do is to give this a good old clean up and replace the gaiter, pack it all up with grease, put it back on, have a look at the other side, pack that up with grease, and then finally get it fitted to the car at long last. And then I can put gearbox oil in it at least, without it all flooding out the diff. Right, guys, so I'm just going to peel back the gaiter on the hub side of the drive shaft on this CV joint, just to see what it looks like inside. So yeah, there's plenty of grease in this one, moves around really nicely, but while I've got everything off, I may as well strip this side down as well and replace the grease, because it is quite lumpy, and I have found a little split in this gaiter as well, so it may just be worthwhile me changing it while it's off the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and strip this side down as well, replace both gaiters and renew the grease. It's everything stripped down now. First of all, we've got the CV joint for the hub side of things here. This has all been cleaned. There's still a little bit of grease in there, but there's not much I can really do about that. Cleaned it up the best I can for now. One day everything will get a complete strip down and overhaul, and a complete clean so it comes back to the shiny metal. But for now, literally just trying to get the car built. So that's one of the parts. Another part is the CV joint for the gearbox side. As you can see, this is a cleaner side of it anyway, so I've just given it a good wipe for now, clean the grease. There wasn't much in here anyway, so there's another part. And last but not least, got the entire drive shaft here, obviously without the CV joints on it. This will get a complete overhaul one day, but for now it's all about getting the car back up, built and running, so I can get it into a garage, and then I can start the fun side of things. So I just actually had a conversation with Ford on the phone to see if I could get some genuine gaiters from my local dealership, and they wouldn't even take my reg number. I said it's too old for the system. He said to me, I'm assuming it's a private plate, is it F-reg? And I said, no, it's genuinely just old. And he said, well, it won't go in the system, mate, sorry. It's a bit too old, we won't be doing parts for that anymore. But not that long ago, I managed to get a whole load of parts from this car, genuine from Ford, but hey ho, no problem. Just gonna strip out this old CV joint that's left in the hub, just to get it ready for the new one. There we go. Look at the state of it. Right, so as you can see, in around the gearbox where the drive shaft's going to be going, there's a lot of muck, and what I want to do is just be able to blast some of it off with a pressure washer before I put the drive shaft in, because I don't want to have to try and clean it later. So what I'm going to do is get this, which I've just put a rubber glove on so it stays clean as I'm doing it, put this in the gearbox and get blasting away. Here I have the new gaiter. First thing first, what I'm going to do is slide it over the shaft and get it down far enough. Then next step is to get the joint and put it back on. But first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of grease in here, slide it on, pack this entire area here with grease, get the clips all lined up, push it back onto the shaft. Right guys, so if you don't know how this clip works, basically what's going to happen is it's going to expand as I push it over this taper, and then as soon as it gets to that ridge, it's going to contract and lock it back in place. So what I'm going to do, squeeze some of that grease on there like that, get the shaft, locate the teeth on it, push it back into place. That's now locked back in. Just going to work some of that grease in, and then I'm going to pack the rest around here and into the actual gaiter itself. First things first, I'm going to slide it up a little bit. Right, so I'm going to just pump the rest of this grease in there, then put the clips on it, and then that is that side literally done. Right, so here we've got one side completed. Just the last thing to do, squeeze down the clips, that's all. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the other side on there now. Same sort of order, exact same thing really. First things first, get the gaiter on. Right, that's on there nicely. Now I'm just gonna squeeze plenty of grease in here. just going to give it a quick spread around because this one's a little different. This one actually slides in and out, whereas the one on the hub side pretty much stays still. So I'm just going to make sure there's plenty of grease in here, make sure that this is worked in nicely, get the clips ready for this one, and then last but not least throw it on the car. So here we now have the complete shaft ready to go on the car. Here's the hub side, here's the gearbox side, all ready to go on. So just going to go ahead and fit that, and then we are literally one step closer to getting this car done. Yes. Right, so it's literally the last few steps of the installation of this drive shaft now. Here's the second-hand drive shaft with the new gaiters on it, all cleaned up, looking nice. Gearbox as well, it's been given a good clean. I didn't really want to put it all back together while it was still looking really dirty in there. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it will take a really long time to get that absolutely spotless. It's looking so much better anyway, so just going to go ahead and start getting this on. First things first, I'm gonna undo these suspension arms. Got just the two nuts underneath. Gonna crack them off, separate it all, and then I should be able to swing the whole strut assembly out of the way and insert the drive shaft to the gearbox and then into the hub. Right, so that's all now been separated, and I'm gonna go ahead, get the drive shaft into the gearbox. Hopefully it goes in nice and easy. Just gotta line it up, and there we go. Right, so now as you can see, drive shaft is fully in on the gearbox or diff side. Now just gotta get it into the hub, and then that'll be it. Right, so also now got it in on this end. Literally gonna put that washer on and this nut on just to stop it for now from slipping back out and causing me problems. So that's in place, it's all lined up and looking good at the back. Just literally got to put all these suspension arms back together, and then that's the installation of the drive shaft done. Obviously can't be checked properly until the car's running and moving, but for now it's one step closer. Right guys, so the drive shaft is now fitted. Just torqued it up. Looks pretty good, looks nice and clean. Haven't done a bad job if I say so myself. Obviously replaced the gaiters, and now there's a gap that's been filled, thank God. So, and also obviously the gearbox has had a good clean up. So that's that. On to the next part. I don't really know what I'm going to install next, but we'll have to see. Right guys, so that's pretty much where things are going to end today. Drive shaft's now fitted and on the Fiesta, thank God. It's another thing that's been done on a long list. At least I can put a tick next to it. I've had a few more bits land for it recently, but the only thing is that I need to assemble a couple of different things in the engine bay before I fit them on also, and I need to work a couple of things out. So I'm going to be asking for a little bit of advice just on the braking system, from the servo sort of down to the pedal. That needs to be assembled properly. Something's definitely not right there. Also got some more updates coming on the Golf, and hopefully a couple of things on the BMW as well in the future. So if you would like to like, comment and subscribe, it sort of just keeps things ticking over a little bit. And also if you want to ask me any questions, then feel free to do so. Happy to answer them on YouTube or on Instagram, I'm mostly on. So guys, thanks for watching as well. See you in the next video.